Welcome to Story Stream channel. Our story about Think Before You Speak, the tale of Sammy the Tattletale. In the heart of a vast green forest, where animals lived in harmony and peace, there was a small squirrel named Sammy. Sammy was known for his soft fur that shimmered under the sunlight and his bushy tail that fluttered in the air. But what truly distinguished Sammy wasn't the beauty of his fur, it was his passion for spreading news. He loved being the first to know what was happening in the forest, and the first to tell others about it. However, Sammy didn't always verify if the news he shared was accurate, nor did he think about how his words might affect others. All he cared about was excitement and entertainment. One bright morning, the monkey Max was training hard by the lake. He was practicing jumping and swinging between branches at great speed, while the turtle Tina watched him with admiration. After a period of intense training, Max stopped to catch his breath and said to Tina,
I dream of becoming the fastest monkey in the forest, but I know it takes patience and perseverance.
Tina nodded wisely and said,
Patience and perseverance are the keys, but don't let others' words discourage you.
Sammy was nearby, hiding among the branches, and overheard part of the conversation. But he didn't wait to hear the rest. He quickly jumped toward the river, where the animals gathered daily and shouted excitedly,
Friends, I have exciting news. Max thinks he's faster than the gazelle. He even believes he can beat him in a race.
The animals laughed loudly, and some of them began to mock Max's ability to compete. When the news reached Max, he felt deeply discouraged. He hadn't meant to boast, he was simply dreaming and striving for his goal. But Sammy's words made everyone think he was arrogant. He stopped training and decided to stay alone, away from the others. Sammy didn't stop there. The next day, as he was hopping between trees above a small pond, he saw the elephant Rani standing next to the duck Dodo, talking and laughing with her.
I feel like I've eaten too much today. I think I've become heavier than usual. Maybe I should stop eating those delicious bananas.
Dodo laughed and joked,
But Rani, even if you're heavier, you're still strong and the fastest elephant in the forest.
Sammy didn't understand that the conversation was a joke. He quickly jumped into the forest and spread new gossip.
Friends, have you heard? The elephant Rani has become too slow because of his weight. He says he can no longer run.
The story spread quickly among the animals until it reached Rani, who felt deeply embarrassed. He decided to avoid everyone for a while, thinking they were all mocking him. A few days later, Sammy was hopping between the trees over the green meadow, when he saw the rabbit Peter trying to jump over a wide hole to reach the other side. However, he couldn't jump far enough and fell halfway into the hole. The hedgehog Spiky was nearby, so he rushed quickly and extended his hands to help Peter climb out. Sammy watched the scene from afar but misunderstood it completely. He hurried to the gathering of animals and said,
Have you heard what happened today? The rabbit Peter can no longer jump like he used to. Even the hedgehog Spiky had to help him get out of the hole.
The animals were surprised and began whispering about whether Peter had really become weak. When Peter heard these rumors, he felt discouraged and said sadly,
I'm not weak. I was just having trouble with that big hole.
The wise owl Sarah noticed that the forest was no longer the same. Max had stopped training, Rani had become isolated, and Peter was feeling sad. Sarah realized that someone was behind all these stories causing problems. On a quiet night, she flew to Sammy's tree, stood firmly in front of him and said,
Sammy, do you know what you've done?
Sammy looked at her innocently and replied,
What did I do, Sarah? I'm just sharing the news.
Sarah sighed and said wisely.
The news you shared wasn't entirely true, and you added things that made others feel sad and embarrassed. This isn't news, it's gossip.
Sammy became flustered and said.
But I didn't mean to hurt anyone.
Sarah smiled gently and said.
Perhaps you didn't mean to, but your words caused harm. Max lost confidence in himself. Rani felt embarrassed, and Peter thought everyone was making fun of him. Words, Sammy, have great power. They can either spread goodness or cause harm.
Sammy felt deep regret and decided to fix his mistake. The next morning, he first went to Max and said,
I'm sorry, Max. I misunderstood what you said. You're not arrogant. You have a wonderful dream, and you should strive to achieve it.
Then he went to Rani and said,
I didn't mean to embarrass you. I should have been more careful about what I shared.
Finally, he hopped over to Peter and said,
I'm sorry for making you feel sad. I was wrong to share the story that way.
Afterward, he gathered all the animals and said clearly,
My friends, I've learned an important lesson. Gossip hurts others and ruins relationships. From now on, I'll be more careful about what I say, and I'll only share news that is true and helpful. Words are like arrows. You can't take them back once they're released, so choose them wisely.
The animals were delighted with Sammy's words, and the forest returned to its former state, full of love and friendship. As for Sammy, he became wiser and started sharing only happy news, making the forest a happier place for everyone. The end. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.